Sorry about that. We're busy talking about fucking wanting to blow the drum tech because over the bass player because that's just the way it would be if Fluff and I were groupies at the concert.
It's
The
a
joys of being
typical. Go ahead. Yeah.
I guess let's play some music, shall we?
Do it.
The Lobster song.
With a whole bunch of dudes and a couple really cool chicks. Come here to learn, come here to teach. Mostly we come to bullshit. Caribou Heart, we all play our part in this cannabis game. Caribou Heart, come pop a squat, recreate, or just kill your pain. Rolling up weed into a bunch of dudes and a couple dang dab hits. Laughing along, getting real stoned. Don't forget, dear Uncle Rick. Caribou Heart, we all play our part in this cannabis game. Caribou Heart, come pop a squat, recreate, or just kill your pain.
All right. We were just very rudely interrupted by a YouTube live stream upon a very important conversation we were having about being trying to get into the VIP concert or section of concerts and stuff like that. Now, we're pretty sure that we'd have to be forced to blow the bass player or someone along those lines. And so now the next question is, Fluff, if you had to blow a bass player, which bass player are you going to blow to get into a concert?
Well, it's got to be Nikki Sixx, bro. I mean, it's got to be Nikki Sixx.
Nikki Sixx.
To be honest. Oh yeah, yeah, and we're gonna go with the early days when, let's be honest, it wasn't a stretch to make him look like a woman. So yeah, we're gonna go with that one.
I could see that. I could see that. That's
okay.
All right, Rick. Whose bass player are you gonna blow?
Oh, decisions. Oh my God. There's so many to choose from. Truthfully, I'd like it to be a smorgasbord. Okay. So just line them all up and what I won't do to get into a concert.
Holy shit. I want to go hang out with you sometime trying to get into a show just to watch what you will do. If I know.
Right.
Like,
You
hey,
always
I
gotta
know
have
him. We could probably get at least 30 new subscribers and like 15 likes on that video alone. So like be great. Okay, Bees, whose dick are you gonna suck?
There's only one answer for me, man. That's Lemmy.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh shit. Caribou, you wanted Lemmy?
I wanted to suck Lemmy's dick. Yes, I did. Totally. Okay, well, if I gotta pick someone else, then like is that kind of like Fluff's idea of maybe they look like a chick. You can go with like maybe Buff McKagan might be a good one.
Excuse me, is this Friday night? Like what's going on here?
Well, the guest is late, so we've got time to kill. So let's talk about this now.
He's doing other things. He'll be here.
Now, dare I even ask Goddess? Like, is this even appropriate to ask, or like?
Oh, come on. Let's share with us, Goddess.
I won't be sucking anybody's dick, man. Okay.
All right, hey,
I will find a different way.
Now hold
Well,
on.
it depends on the concert now.
Yeah, we have to turn this around the opposite way for you. So we have to figure out which girl. And there's very few girl bases. So like maybe the chick from Coal Chamber. I mean,
the girl from Krongbin. That's who you want.
Maybe the singers from the Butcher's Babies.
I'll
Come on,
you guys pick for me.
What about Lita Ford? Lita Ford could be a good one to throw in there.
Yeah, just pick me a hot one.
Oh my God.
Well, I like the fact she's got standards. She says, hey, look, we're gonna fuck it up. Just make her hot, all right? That works.
Yeah. Everyone else on the panel's just like gobble Thanksgiving turkey going on.
And I got
Oh my
standards too, but it's the show I'm getting into, not the dick going in.
That's right. Yeah. Hey, if it gets me a couple 100 miles across the country, I'll take a shot in the mouth.
I'm pretty sure there's a lot of truckers who will take you up on that.
They'll even take you right to the show. Sit there with you, bees.
Yeah, you might even get a ride home after that one.
Oh my god.
Depends
Ooh,
on if you drag your teeth or not, I suppose.
right.
I just want to take a minute to shout out somebody in the Canna fam that's having some issues. Crimson Grows, he's been on the show before. Basically, he got pulled over for driving while under the influence, but he had not smoked since the night before, and he does possess a medical card. So he's just asking for any help. He needs to get a lawyer by Friday. So if anybody can help at all, like, you know, every dollar helps. So, or even just give him a shout out or send him a brief message and let him know you're here for him. Any way you can help would be awesome.
Yeah, he's got a GoFundMe. How would you go about that? Like it came up on my Instagram.
Yeah, if you go to his page, he has like a link tree, and you can go into there, and there's a link to the GoFundMe. Yeah.
By the way, that was he was charged with driving under the influence, but that wasn't alcohol. That was cannabis. And
Cannabis, yeah.
You know, and Virginia is a fucking legal state. What the fuck is that? I mean, it's legal. How can you be charged with, you know?
And you know, the only good thing that he has going for him is the thing that they've talked about since this kind of went legal with everybody else is it's on the burden for the cops to prove impairment. And whether he was impaired or not, since there is no reliable test to say he was impaired at that moment, any decent fucking lawyer worth his lick of salt should be able to get him off, because if he did you know, without them being able to prove it, then he should.
I want to say too, just for other people that may be in that boat, this is an ex-vet. He does have a screwed up ankle. He has a lot of issues with it. So when they took his shoes and socks off and got him to do the walking test, he can't physically do this test. He cannot walk on that foot very well. So he was trying to explain that to them and show them the scars on his ankle, and they didn't give a fuck. So just so you guys know, they're not going to give a fuck about anything you say. So just, you know, don't say anything. Wait for your lawyer. Do what you have to do.
Here's a pro tip. Don't say yes to a sobriety test, first of all.
Yeah.
Just
well, here in Canada, you have no choice.
I know. You do have a choice here. If you say no, they'll arrest you and they'll just take you.
Yes.
That's fine.
Okay.
But do that, because you're honest. If you're going to get a lawyer anyway, then you're going to be 10 steps ahead of them, because they won't have anything to go on.
Definitely. Good advice.
And
Sam,
they
yes.
did.
I only say this because I have a DUI on my record for the exact same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
And they did. They ended up taking blood from him, so I guess that's what they got him on. But even then, we all know that cannabis can remain in your system like more than 30 days. So even if you do test positive, whatever they claim is positive, that still doesn't mean a goddamn thing.
You know, I feel like the DARE system was really just training kids how to talk to cops. Like, just say no to drugs. Are you on drugs? No.
Yeah, good point. Yeah,
drugs are bad.
So sadly, as is usually the case, the fucking lawyers are just going to end up taking all the money, and hopefully, I mean, we're all hoping for a positive end for this, but and he should get off. But it's just going to make some lawyers rich. That's all.
and I know like people are saying don't let them do that, but I think he was just trying to cooperate with them. He knew he hadn't smoked in hours and hours, so he figured, you know, he would be okay. They also do like a UV light thing in your nose and your mouth. I don't know if they did that to you, but basically they can kind of see residue in your mouth and your nose. And they did specifically say he barely had any residue, which was in connection with not smoking for hours. So they said it themselves. You know, I'm pretty sure he'll get off, but it's just the fact that, you know, he's like the rest of us. He doesn't have a lot of money, and, you know, tough situation, but he'll get through it. And I'm sure he will get off of it too.
Yeah. By the way, he's going to be our guest tomorrow night, so we're going to get more of the inside dirt tomorrow night.
Yes.
So tune in for that.
Straight from the clink.
Yeah.
Yeah. You betcha.
He's using his one call to call into you guys. That's nice.
You guys should like when you guys start your show off, you should get all three of you doing like an a cappella version of "Fuck the Police." That'd be a lot of fun.
Yes.
Are you guys gonna start? You know, what are you guys gonna open with? Like the Law and Order theme song, or fucking?
Yeah, who are you
funny.
gonna call? No, that's a.
Hey, don't give Rick any ideas. He's gonna start looking that shit up. Next thing you know, his shit's gonna start with Law and Order, and then the video is just gonna get yanked in. You know, don't give Rick no fucking ideas like that. You know what do it.
Oh shit! And shout out to International Women's Day, a very special day for women. So there you go.
It is.
Got us.
Thank you.
This one's for you.
Yeah, that sounds like something we should probably be dabbing to, I suppose, eh?
Any excuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's hard to twist my rubber arm around here. If I can find it.
Oh, did you break it? Hell, man.
I think I did.
Oh, you broke it. Go figure.
Oh, wait. Oh, no, that's not. I don't know what I did. Ooh.
Oh no.
I got music
Rick,
playing and
Rick,
shit.
fix it.
Something's going on. Every time I try and pick the dab frog up, music plays. I don't know what the fuck it is.
You know what the problem is? You're sitting right next to me, and this fucking boomer shit rubs off. Okay, I'm just saying.
Well,
That might be it. You might have to switch the frames up a little bit. Get Rick away from you. Put him like in the bottom
fuck?
corner. Be really intense. Can you play the live chat video?
I'll just play the frog some more, then everybody
go.
will know. I'll just
Old
stroke
school, analog.
Stroke it
always.
for everybody.
Mechanical and analog. Always. the way
Find
to go.
mine,
You know
I'll-
sorry,
what
I
I'm
fucking
saying?
thought I muted myself there, guys. Sorry about that. I don't. So when I was seeing, okay,
That
I got a
sounds
call from
close.
my daughter, guys. I got to I got to take.
Handle it.
Holy shit, Caribou's fucking falling apart right now.
I was just gonna
so
say he's a
shit.
fucking hot mess over there.
Whoa.
Don't
Don't
these
come back.
At the
motherfuckers
same
know he's
time.
supposed to be doing shit?
So now he's going to be on the phone for like 20 minutes, and
Oh,
he's
yeah.
probably going to be in the waiting room.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Brandon Russ be there
Where
just
aren't you?
fucking hanging out, fucking being like, "What these motherfuckers? Seriously?"
Brandon
got me
Russ
on hold.
is a busy person who talks to lots of people, so he'll be here
Right.
as soon as he can.
Maybe. I mean, that's only if Caribou comes back to let him in.
Oh yeah, good point.
I
Hope
mean, that
everyone's
is
doing
probably
well.
the one thing that we have been consistently really good at is fucking up good guests by not letting them in. We've been really
Yeah.
good at that.
Well, it's nice to be good at something.
It's got to be authentic. You know, like when you show up to the party and you can hear the music on the inside, and you're knocking on the door, and you're like, "No one's coming. They can't fucking
Exactly.
hear me."
We
Yep.
tease them so they want to come back again.
So is that what that? Because some of them have never shown back up at all.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, that
Yeah,
backfired.
Yeah, that's the way it works around Caribou. It's all or nothing around this bitch.
That's too funny.
You either love us or you hate us. Or you think we're all right?
Nah.
Oh, yeah, I had to throw in a third option. I think I could see him hesitating there. Or so before
Yeah.
our guest gets here, I was wondering if Fluffy, if you could maybe help me make some decisions here.
Are we talking about
I can try, man.
I can help you
Okay.
too.
Okay. Well, yeah. Everybody.
We're here together.
Everybody got us. Everybody in on this. Okay. So what I have is a collection of soil and stuff, and I put it all together, and I want to create my first organic system. In the future, I will. What I want to do is get my hands on some type of organic soil that's already mixed up, water only, and then simply go with a some type of all-purpose amendment. So, but in the meantime, I just thought, well, shit, it's wasteful not to use up this stuff. So what I've got, okay, you can
Okay,
see
I see some
down
Fox
there.
Farm. What do I see? Some Coco Loco back there.
Yeah, there's the Fox Farm
Ocean Forest, it looks like.
Yep.
and the Happy Frog. So I
You
got
got some Happy Frog too.
about
Okay.
about a half bag of each of those, and then I've got that bag of hydroton, which I'm going to be using for the bottom layer of the containers, and I also got a couple of. Well, of course, I have cocoa, and I have
Pete.
no perlite.
Oh,
Perlite.
okay.
And then Kingfisher. I'm not deciding on which seeds I'm going to pop today, but I've got to work on my soil thing. So I also have. I got a nice bag of worm castings, so I'm excited about that. And
I like to hug my worm castings too. They feel nice.
Also,
You put yours in the bag first?
a shop was going out of business, so I just thought I'd grab whatever I could from them, and I grabbed here. I'll show you this one.
Ooh.
You show me, Rick.
Yeah,
you show me so hard.
I want to see it too. How much to touch it?
Okay. Sea soil. Okay, so
Sea soil.
I must have like a lot of crab and whatnot. One of those.
Enriched with fish nutrients, improves nutrition, retains moisture, breaks up clay. Yeah, so I haven't read too much about the ingredients,
but you saw it and you wanted it. You're like, hey.
Exactly. I'm going organic. So
so I need one of every fucking kind of organic soil there is.
Not even just soil. It says organic on it. He needs one of that. All right. It's got the Omri label on it. He's like, I need that and that and that.
That's right.
And do you have anything new that no one knows anything about? I want some of those too.
Absolutely. You have some untested testers that really need to be tested.
Can I pre-order the next new thing?
And this is why. And this is why Uncle Rick is awesome.
I don't give a shit what it is. I want it.
Yeah, just give it to me.
Yeah.
All right. So, all right, what can we do for you here, Rick?
Okay,
you have amendments. You have soil over there like a motherfucker.
Yeah. So I have 4 Autopot containers to fill. So each one is going to be, it's something under 4 gallons. So say 3.5 gallons after I put the hydroton in there. So what do you suggest? But before you answer, what are you trimming over there, my friend?
This is actually some a really small little nug. This is actually one of the testers of a gorilla hash and got from Hypothetical that I didn't do real good job with. I kind of put it in a corner and treated it like a little fucking redheaded stepchild and didn't really take care of it real well. And it did phenomenally well. It was lacking on nutrients. It got temperature and humidity swings like you wouldn't believe. Just all over the place. It was hot and fucking cold and dry, and so for everything it went through, fantastic. And it flipped a little early. It was a small little plant. Like I said, I didn't treat it real well. So we're gonna give it another run, but the quality on it, it has a wonderful terp profile. It's citrusy, a little bit of floral, with some gas on the back end. So real nice. You can taste this. I've always said, when you vape, you can kind of taste CBD. It's got almost a red licorice flavor to it, from what I've noticed. So you can tell it's a high CBD strain when you vape it. So I can get the CBD out of it. It's definitely there. It packs a real nice high to go with it, though. It's not weak by any means.
Red
Real
vine or Twizzlers?
More red vine, really. Yeah, for sure.
Good. It's the better one.
Yeah, more of the actual licorice than like a fake strawberry or something. So really, that red licorice flavor.
And what is the lineage of that?
Honestly, the hash and got, I can never remember what the actual lineage on that is. And then it was just bred with a Gorilla Auto. So I'm really bad about that.
I assumed
about following.
Yeah, I assumed when it had the word gorilla in there that it had some.
Yeah, it's hard. I know Hype likes to work with some pretty decent, stable, and tested genetics when he picks something out to breed with. So I would be fairly confident that it's it's a decent gorilla that he's working with. So
Cool.
Or GG. So
good.
Yeah.
Like okay,
said,
so back to making it all about me. Okay.
Yeah.
So where were we?
All right. So what do you want to do?
Okay. So, I want to mix up. No, I didn't mean to make it all about me. Take that off.
You said it.
Okay. So I've got some. I have some. Of the ocean forest and the happy frog, and I have cocoa and pellet.
I would start like your seedlings or whatever. Like basically your happy frog is a real light. It's lightly amended. It's a light soil. It's going to be nice for seedlings. It might even actually be a touch hot for seedlings, but most people have fairly good luck with that specific soil. I would give it a little mix of worm castings in with it, just because we all know me. I put worm castings in fucking everything if I can. So I would throw little castings in it, but that's what I would start my seedlings in. All your other shit, I would take and throw it on a tarp and mix it all together. And just, I would pick up, you're in Canada, I'd pick up like some Gaia Green 444 to just, add a little extra to it. But your pre-amended soils, your earthworm castings, get some you got some compost. Do you have any kind of compost at all?
No, but I have that. I'm sorry. That one bag I showed you, that is organic compost.
The fish.
The
fish one.
The sea, the sea
okay.
soil.
That was a compost, not a soil. It was
exactly.
Like okay. So I would take your soils, I'd get it all mixed in, your castings, your compost, get a little 444. I like to take my dry amendments and get them mixed into the soil. It's not always all about just getting it top dressed. I like to get some down in that soil so things can get working. There's other amendments that just work better when it's actually in the soil. So When I'm building my soils, I put a nice layer, a nice amount of dry amendment into the soil and get it mixed in. And then you can, while during your growth season, you can drive by, amending the topping and everything. So, but yeah, you don't need to get fancy with it. You ain't got to get a bunch of crazy shit. The 444 is going to pretty much cover anything you want to make it nice and simple. Now we're not looking at like some stellar grow that's going to be, a fucking 10% terpene content off that, but you're going to get a wonderful grow with amazing, terp profiles and do little to nothing to it. So,
now the two things I'm thinking about, one would be that organic compost and the earthworm castings. Thank you. Now, should I be concerned about the proportions that I'm putting them in, or do I have any fear
I don't
of, like burning anything?
I don't. The only time I've ever burned with my worms is when I used like the worm leachate, and I used it at a really heavy rate. Like my shit looked like brown mud when I was pouring it on my plants, and that pissed them off. That was hot. But I mean, that's pure concentrated like worm. It's really heavy.
Okay. And what about that what about that compost?
The compost, I've not seen or worked with that specific one. Compost usually is a fairly light in the garden. You will most likely make your soil too heavy before you would burn your soil. You know what I mean? So you would make the structure of your soil just too heavy before you would get to the point where your compost would burn it. In my experience with what I use.
Okay, good. Okay, appreciate it.
I like the fact that our audience, our chat is keeping it down for us. Blue Kiss is over there talking about how she's taking everything and turning it sexual on the Taco Tuesday. So thank you very much for keeping it very, very caribou around here.
Oh yeah, Mr. Robert Greenfingers, moist and wet. Yeah, here we go.
That's right. Hey, and that's very important to keep, your organics nice and moist. So, those microbes, they like the water. They like to be moist.
Who doesn't?
Well, I don't think Green Goddess likes to be moist by the looks of it. She cringes a little bit every time the word even gets said. I kind of want to just like go on like an Austin Powers, like moist, but I'm not gonna, because I'm an adult, sort of.
I've accepted it into my life now. I think I'm just gonna have to accept it. I have no choice now.
Okay, so Kingfisher, thank you, suggesting that the perlite ratio is important. What do you think about that, Fluffy? Like what ratio?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I also, because I have worms in all my pots, aeration never really is a huge problem for me. I've always got stuff traveling through there. I use old roots. I use rice holes, stuff like that. When my old pots are there, old roots make great fucking aeration, and it breaks down into more nutrients for your fucking plants. It's stuff my worms want to eat. So, things like that are what I'm using for aeration in the long run. After this soil's run a few times, after you get one cycle out of it, you start, you can break up those plants, and that's great stuff. And that's free. You know what I'm saying? And it adds benefit to your plant. So, but I like to use the rice holes when I'm first building a soil myself. I will use the perlite, but I hate the white dust everywhere and trying to wash. If I take some time to wash the shit before I bring it in my house, I probably wouldn't be so mad about it. But I like the fact that when I put stuff in my soil, I like it to work for my soil. So that, that's why I like the rice hulls. It breaks down, it gives you a little bit of silica, and it's just overall beneficial. So, but yes, like ratio wise, I mean, I always just go by feel. And I've definitely underdone it and had way too heavy a soil that just you gotta let it dry, and you gotta let roots get in those things and let the worm, for me, and let the worms, get moving along when you accidentally do that, because you got to get some aeration back into it. But when I would grow with bottles, like use nectar and things like that, I have had to pull a plant because I transplanted it up, and like 4 days later, that son of a bitch, you could just tell how heavy the soil was. It would never bounce back. I had to take it back out, wash the roots off, get all and just redo the soil. So, it's one of those things that sucks, but you learn. Yeah, overdo it's a little better. You know what I mean? For a lot of people. But like I said, I think the worms do so much for the aeration and things that I don't have to worry about it. Cool. So, but as for that, let's say, they always say like the 1/3 ratio. I always add just a little bit more than like that 1/3, just to give it a little extra, or I'll do a full 1/3 of like perlite with, a good helping of rice hulls to go with it. So
like 50, 50, 50, 30.
Kind of. I mean, in reality, I would really like to just build some soil that's just nothing but compost and castings, and then put a little aeration in it. Like, fuck the peat, fuck everything else. Like, I've opened my worm bin before after I didn't do so good of a job of pulling seeds out. And in the dark, in my worm bin, I've got shit just growing everywhere. And it's like, how the fuck? And that, I mean, I don't know if you've ever dug through a worm bin. Those things are tightly packed like a motherfucker. Like they're wet, they're tight. It's not a nice environment for roots, but man, they sure fucking love to grow in there. Oh, Aldridge, I love you too. Jesus Christ. What? I don't know what I was ever thinking when I named myself Fluffy. Never should have fucking done that.
You'll never live that one down, buddy.
That's all right. That's all right. I enjoy it.
Caribou, is it possible? I hope not. That maybe Brandon was trying to get in while you were gone. No.
No. I tried hanging out in front of the computer for that exact reason. I was sitting here with my I had an upset 8-year-old on the phone, and I had to kind of deal with that. So I just had muted my computer, sat here with the computer off, and because that first I left the room, because leave the computer do that. Then I kind of immediately had that, oh shit, yeah, we're expecting a guest. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Hopefully you'll be able to make it.
Yeah.
Hey, he might be hanging out in chat going, "Oh, fuck these guys." Oh no.
Should
have watched that before I said yes.
It wouldn't be the first time we've had a guest watch us say the night before a show and say, "No, I want nothing to do with them." So it probably wouldn't be the last either. Tell you the truth.
I hope not.
I'm sure he'll be here. It'll just be like top of the hour. I think there was a time confusion.
That's all good. Worst things have happened.
We are stoners, so think shit happens.
Yeah, exactly.
We are.
That's why we don't really. Well, it always sucks whenever a guest doesn't actually make it, right? Because you're always excited for it, but at the same time, Sam just said it best. We are all stoners, so.
High profit. I don't know why that motherfucker's over in chat and not sitting on fucking camera.
Is he really?
Yeah, he just got high.
Profit, what the fuck?
Well, the panel
replace fucking Profit with G-Bay. You know what?
The panel wouldn't be so fucking lame if you were here, buddy. Come on.
It's probably like, I was on the show this morning.
Yeah, I worked so hard.
It's pretty. It can't be too hard sitting there letting Paula carry the show for him.
Yeah.
And I got to watch about the first 20, not quite 30 minutes of this morning show, and I had to out the door to work. I was hanging out in our Discord, noticed something about a coffee incident there, and I was like, "Oh shit, that sounds like I got to go back and watch that." The girlfriend and I were sitting here watching it. Prophet was awesome. He told us right about exactly when it was going to happen and everything, so we didn't even have to fuck it. We could have fast forwarded, but we didn't. We sit here, we knew it was coming. I was like, look at the old lady. I was like, it's in about a minute and a half, it'll be here. About 4 minutes later, she looks at us. She's like, "Did we miss it?" It's like, okay, yeah. So rewind it. Sure enough, fucking just I see Colton spit coffee all over his computer. I hope it's not fried. That'd be pretty sure. Oh, I see it now. Here comes Prophet. Now that we've chewed his ass out. Now should we let
no,
him?
you should.
I
no,
hope
you
he's.
should
I hope
fucking
he's
let him in.
embarrassed.
Yeah.
You're
Fucking
late.
guy thinks he can just fucking show up whenever the fuck he wants.
Not
What does he
even like
think he is?
fashionably late either, right? Like it did.
No.
Like fucking,
I thought he'd never fucking leave. Well, wait a minute. He hasn't got here yet.
I thought he'd never fucking get here. I know. I wait. Like, I wish we could like put a camera in the waiting room and like make him do some kind of ridiculous dance or something like that.
Right? There should be a waiting room camera option. Like,
I think there should.
yeah.
Well, hey,
we gotta,
as far as I know, like I can type messages to the people in the waiting room, and which could be a lot of fun. Because stupid shit like fucking like abandon all hope of fucking anybody that's coming in here type shit, right? And then it'd be kind of fun if you could actually message back and forth with these people. Because you'd be like, "What's the magic password?" And then of course the fucking lame ones are gonna be like, "Please," and I'm like, "No." And then they're gonna be like, "Open sesame," and you're like, "No." And then they keep going, no. And everyone knows it's rock and roll, right? So
Okay, well, I guess we can start now. Hey, Prophet, how are
Prophet
you?
showed
buddy?
up. We can have a fucking show now. Yeah. That's it.
Hey,
Good
I
to
mean,
see you,
I
man.
was seeing how you guys were doing without me, but I was like, all right, fuck,
Yeah,
I guess you'll probably
utter-
come to me.
We
Utter
had to get you
failure.
here to fucking carry the torch for us. I mean,
Utter
we don't know what
failure.
the fuck we're doing.
I'm observing, obviously, but no, my bad. I realized that there's only 24 hours in a fucking day, apparently, and trying to cramming too much in one day just doesn't really work out no matter how hard you try. So I was
Yeah,
running a little behind.
that's the whole point why we're here for you, Prophet, so that we can make you shirk all your responsibilities and just have fun with us.
Yeah.
Fuck
I
all
like
the
that
bullshit.
idea. Yeah, dude,
Right?
if I could easily do that, I was doing that like fucking 4 months ago.
For,
and shit was
for like a
band
year and a
aid,
half.
man. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
You
Yeah,
were
bro.
doing it for like a year and a half, which is why you should probably get back to your adulting.
Yeah, we're not here to help you shoulder the weight. We're just here to help you put the rock down. Here, put that down and come play.
Yeah, no.
Exactly. And then when you're done, we're gonna toss another one on top of it because that's how we do. We're good friends like that.
You guys are great, man. I mean, with friends like you, who the fuck needs enemies?
Exactly.
Oh, hi, Fluff.
You already missed-
Technical
I already said hi to you,
question.
fucker.
Already? I just got
Yeah.
here, dude.
I
Put it in
know.
the water.
Put it in water.
Calmag.
Give it
Calmag,
water.
the fucker.
Yeah, that's
So-
right.
There you go.
Yeah, so Hoobie Growing Doobies made a mention in chat that he got no notifications about the morning show, and what I'm thinking what it is every now and then YouTube just says, "Go fuck yourself," and they won't tell the subscribers that there is a show happening.
Yep.
There's not much anybody can do about that. I mean, if you have your notifications set, you've done everything you can. So
You'll even get unsubscribed without realizing it. On sometimes I've had few channels I've been unsubscribed to from YouTube, and I'm like, okay, why the fuck is that?
Huh.
You know?
actually, Prophet, I've had that happen too.
Yeah.
Usually not any of our cannabis shows though.
No.
But I have been kind of like, okay, let's say I watch that one all the time. And was it me that just maybe bumped the unsubscribe button? Unlikely, but maybe, but who knows? But yeah, I've heard that one a few times now, and the honest answer is I don't know. But that is one of the reasons also why we like 6 a.m. In the mornings Pacific time, and 6 p.m. Or 6 a.m. in the morning, 6 p.m. in the evenings. We try and stick to those times so that way, if there's one of our shows on, you kind of know when. It's just which weekday kind of thing, I guess. It's just seems to make it easier for now, and then we'll get that kind of thing worked out.
Yeah, consistency is how you can beat those bastards at the game. Just make sure that you're following the schedule, and
Stone is following the schedule.
Speaking of which, so we're creating a website. Actually, Goddess is doing all the legwork on it. It's just a tiny bit outside my my expertise. However, one thing that we wanted to include in the website is almost like a TV guide for cannabis podcasts. So whenever whoever has a podcast, we're going to glean that information and we'll throw it all up in a website. And then if anybody wants to update who your guests are going to be this week, that kind of thing, you can post that information. Anybody curious about a website, a podcast, can go and check it out. So hopefully it'll be a nice way of marrying the different podcasts together.
What I would actually be really interested in seeing is just how many channels there are actually out there within our general realm and scope of because we all kind of hang out in the same circle, how many channels and how many podcasts there are, and like just how busy is YouTube throughout the day with all these different shows, because there's more being added all the time. A lot of them are really good, like too. So it's just that'd be really cool. I like that idea.
Yeah.
So I also thought it might be nice to add people's birthdays. So I've actually started accumulating people's birthdays as well.
Cool. That'll be fun.
So I may be hitting some of you up for your birthdays. You don't have to tell me the year, obviously.
Never mind that.
I'm
what did you get me?
For ya.
What did you get me? Yeah.
I already thought of a good gift for you. You can't make me think of another one.
So I cut my grape diamonds this morning. That's really exciting. Actually, really fucking excited about that one, because it got to the point where we started having to buy weed again around here because there just wasn't quite enough for get it from one harvest to the next. A lot of that has to do with my own shitty drying and curing practices and losing over a quarter pound of mold. Fucking, it's the name of the game sometimes when you don't pay attention, and just not ideal situations. We won't go into that one. I've kind of gone over what happened there before, so no point whipping a dead horse. But I'm looking over my side at that space dose, and that bushy bitch of a plant from hurting, and that Hawaiian snow, that's just like big donkey dick pull is like forearms. That's great. Those are all flushing. Super excited about that.
I was actually just really sad because I had to pull one of Dave's because the fucker tricked me straight. Like, I didn't see it coming one bit. Swear to God, that thing was a female. I opened the tent the other day. I looked and I was like, holy shit. Motherfucker had balls everywhere. I was like, what the fuck? No female anything in sight. So I don't know how the fuck I thought that thing was a female for so long, but he gone now. Well, I mean, I'm sitting here staring at him. He's still in my basement, but but he ain't in the tent no more.
That's the silky one.
Yeah, dude. Oh, fucking, that's the sad part, man. That's one less silky little fucker I get to rub against and be all happy about.
You can still stroke him if you want. It's up to you.
Yeah, I was say once you find out it's a male, you don't want to rub up on it anymore, bro.
I'm thinking about just throwing it outside and seeing how it lasts for the season. It would And if it lasts long enough, I might actually pull some pollen off of it. You know, because we're in 12/12 right now, so it'll continue flowering and probably long enough for me to collect some pollen if it doesn't get too cold out and die. But it'd be a great time to see if this fucking plant will deal with some 30-degree weather.
Put it up near your house or something like that. So if you got frost or stuff like that in your area, still hit the warmth from your house should keep it from getting. You'll probably shock the shit out of it for a bit, but hey, you're not looking for production bud or anything like that. So
no, yeah, and like I said, I mean, if I was just going to collect some pollen off of it, it might be a great time. And that'd be a hell of a nice stress test for it. So I might end up doing that. I got a good place I could throw it, you know, where it could get enough light to keep it going, but it would have a roof over it and shit. And then if some real cold comes, I could, you know, throw some plastic over it or something. So
that sounds cool. I like the idea.
I might do that. Yeah.
You don't have to worry about pollinating anybody else's like plants that are outdoors right now, because I don't think anybody else is working outside.
You better hope they got a fucking
thing you could do.
Better hope they got a filter on their intake though.
All right, here comes Brandon. Everybody's quiet. Nobody wants to say shit. There he is. Hey, Brandon, how's it going, man?
And then,
hey, what's going on, guys? Sorry, I was talking to Daniel over at GW Smoke Break, and it's been a long day, so.
Totally understandable, man. Totally understandable. Thank you for joining us, man. It's great to have you. There's a lot of us that have been wanting to meet you, been following you for a little while, so it's a great time. Let's get into it. Tell me about Bokashi. We got a bunch of organic enthusiasts around here talking about all sorts of different composting and all sorts of different methods. Sorry, can't even speak today. It's a common thing. It seems to be with me today. But Bokashi is something that gets very rarely talked about. And Mr. Bokashi is my understanding.
Okay, so Bokashi is actually a Japanese word, and it's a type of fermentive process they use for composting. And instead of doing like a aerated compost, they inoculate their waste with a consortium of microorganisms that includes several species of bacillus, a pseudomonas bacteria, which is a purple non-sulfur bacteria, and also a fermentive yeast. And what it does is it anaerobically breaks down the material and ferments it into basically a bio-waste compost pretty rapidly. And so it's a really effective way to do composting and not have to worry about the compost going anaerobic. And the reason is because this microbial consortium, it outcompetes for space, nutrients, and other resources, and they're able to outcompete the anaerobes that create things like methane and sulfides and different compounds that are negative for the compost.
Okay, very cool stuff. Okay, so how does one go about starting a Bokashi? Like, as I've seen at grocery stores, not in my area, but in another area, there's a bag labeled Bokashi. Is that like a pre-made thing? Is it something you sprinkle on something, or like where do you get started with this?
So the inoculated wheat bran is typically what happens is they take a wheat substrate or some type of a substrate like rice bran, anything that is, that type of substrate that is going to be able to release protein and carbohydrates. And it's going to be able to feed the bacteria. They're going to be able to like kind of colonize it as well. And so what they do typically for like the brand substrate that they use is they'll take the specific microorganisms, they'll introduce a complex carbohydrate like molasses, they'll introduce the microbes and water, and they'll hydrate the material, and then they'll ferment the material like you would beer. And they'll ferment that material, and then after it's done fermenting for maybe 28 days or so, it gets dried out really, really quickly. And what happens is all of the microbes, those microbial consortiums, they all have the ability to sporulate. And so they create what are called endospores. They shrink their DNA into these little capsules because the conditions for them to live aren't right. So you quickly dry out this wheat substrate, they sporulate and they colonize, and they're colonized on the brand substrate. And so what happens is when you go and use this brand substrate and you put it into soils, it releases, when you rehydrate it, right, those microbial consortiums, those spores become active again. They start to feed, they start to stimulate the biology in the soil. They start consuming the nutrients that are in the soil, the carbon and the nitrogen and the oxygen and everything else that they can utilize for growth and development. And so you're also getting you get the benefits of the microbes from the substrate, but you also get the benefit of the added carbon and from that substrate and the breakdown and release of things like phosphorus, sulfur, and nitrogen from that substrate.
So when you mix
Right.
in that, go ahead, Fluffy.
I was just saying, so rather than, buying bottles of random microbes and stuff, you're using the bokashi, and it's helping build your microbial populations. And you're stripping the microbes that was grown inside the bokashi out inside, and then transferring those into your soil.
Yeah, well, the great thing is too that I also sell the liquid concentrate that I actually use to make the bokashi, that I use to inoculate it. So if you would rather just inoculate your soil with a very strong microbial consortium, there's that option too. And then I go a step further. And if you want to have a larger quantity of liquid concentrated microbial consortium, you can buy the spore concentrate and you can make it yourself in a glass carboy using molasses, water, the microbes, and you would be doing it similar to the way that you would ferment beer.
So when you make your bokashi, you make that through a waste stream, right? From another process from something else, right? You're getting your substrate's already been used by another company or something somewhere else. So
it can be. So the substrate that I use, I just buy, a wheat brand that's just, whole, you can buy it in bulk. It's just agricultural wheat brand. And that's what I use. Yes. And implementing the type of recycling systems where you're able to take something like spent grain from breweries and you're able to mix that with, some amendments and then inoculate it, re-ferment it, and then turn it into a biofertilizer. That is the ideal situation. That's called closing the loop, right? It's taking carbon substrate and then adding it back into the environment, adding it back into the soil, and the soil sequestering the carbon. So if you can get enough of it, you can be a carbon neutral, carbon positive business. So that's kind of like the premise. But you need to be able to have, access to that waste. And to be able to do that, you have to develop, type of large systems, like let's say your trash guys, right? Your trash guys pick up huge waste and it's a huge complex business. So you have to be able to build huge complex businesses to be able to implement these systems on larger scales for them to become effective. So I'm working on that.
Right. I have to say, Caribou jumped right in on this shit, got you talking, didn't give you time to roll up this shit, no time for a dab or nothing. So I think you should just go ahead and get on that,
I got a bong hit.
I was kind of
There you
having
go.
that thought myself too. I was just like, as the poor guy sitting there spitting out all this knowledge within like 3 seconds of getting on the screen. It's like,
Oh,
Poor
dude,
guy.
take a hit, relax, man. Trying to
Yeah,
catch
we
up.
normally we don't grill people like that right off the
Yeah,
bat.
yeah.
I don't even think we usually do that after they've been here for an hour or two. With
Look, this is my last thing of the night. I've done 7 business meetings today. I transplanted my veg plants, and I did another podcast before this. So I'm
So
winning.
that's the
If
key
you're
word
born-
is when a guest
So-
comes on and says they're tired, we fucking slam them.
We're like, give me your knowledge.
I've been on it all day, so I'm already in the groove, is what I'm saying.
I know,
No,
I know.
And usually our thing is to try to pull you the fuck out of the groove and see how just far left field we can get our guest to go. But instead, we were like, hey, let's make him smart. But
like
I was
when
trying
this-
to catch up dabbing.
Let's
when
start
this
over.
show went live, we were discussing as males trying to get into a VIP section of a concert, which bass player's dick we would be willing to suck to get into a show. So
I
it's,
said-
I
I said
on
Lemmy.
there.
He's
do you
like,
have-
the
do you
question
have
of the
part
day.
for this one?
Yeah, that'd be a negative. That would be nobody, because there's
Come on, there's got to be at least one.
There's no
He ain't
band.
going backstage. He
That
said,
you like
"Fuck
that much.
There's no band that I like that much.
I don't know. Rush is
Yeah,
so
and the
good.
only person that I would ever really have like be like legitimately, I would be like,
You're gonna get
oh fuck, holy shit, that's fucking Jackie Chan, and I wouldn't suck his dick though.
Jackie Chan, man, come on.
I
Who
love the
is that?
fact that we
But
actually
Jackie
take this
Chan's like
question
your
seriously.
Yeah, fucking Jackie Chan is
You're right.
fucking man. Jackie
Yeah,
Chan is
you're
right.
since the
I'm not gonna
fucking
knock nothing.
mid-70s, dude.
Yeah.
That dude is so badass. I love that dude. That's my fucking hero.
Right on. All right,
I
Brandon,
can
take
get
us-
behind
take us to
that.
the beginning.
Totally respectable answer.
So
I mean,
in the
That
beginning,
dude broke every bone in his body. Did you see Rumble in the Bronx?
Yeah.
Our first
Yeah.
strike, that motherfucker jumped out of an airplane, landed on top of a hot air balloon, and climbed down in that motherfucker to get away from the bad guys. I mean, that's fucking legendary status.
the very first time I heard of the F word was in a Jackie Chan movie, and I was fucking so excited.
See, Jackie Chan's made a positive impact on so many
Everybody.
people's lives.
Yeah, right on.
The first time you heard the F word was on a Jackie Chan movie? Really? It was from my mom. The first
I was
time
raised-
I heard the F
I was
word.
raised, I was raised Mormon.
Mormon though.
Yeah. Yeah, my
What was
brother.
that, swear?
No,
Oh, fuck me, man.
they don't.
No
They
wonder.
don't do a lot of things.
Now I know what that problem is.
Shredder says, did Jackie Chan play bass?
He did not. Not in his
Are
movies.
you
I've seen.
sure?
Oh, you guys are on YouTube too, so you guys have like a live chat somewhere.
Yes,
Oh,
we
we
do.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
People are enjoying your.
And
enjoying
they're
it.
performing as usual.
All right, Brandon. So in the beginning, before you grew any pot, you decided one day.
That I was gonna grow weed.
Yeah, tell us.
Oh yeah. It was. It was like one day I was like, I'm gonna fucking grow weed.
And how long is that? Have you been doing that now? How did it start?
Oh, well,
Tell us the story.
pretty unsuccessfully. Man, the story's so complex, man.
Well, that's right
I-
on.
I
We got time.
Just short. No, I don't though. Jeez.
worries.
Shit. I think the first time I fucking grew weed was on the ag farm in high school, and the plant got maybe a foot tall before it was found out about and destroyed. So I did that a bunch of times in a lot of places, and it never panned out until I got hooked up with some cultivators. You know, they showed me the ropes, and I started growing with those guys when I was 18 or 19 years old. I just went over all of this stuff earlier.
Where was
So I'm
that?
sorry.
Where was that?
I'm born and raised in San Diego,
Uh-huh.
in East County, San Diego.
Yeah. So that would have been outdoors.
No, not at all.
Oh,
No, you can't do outdoors in San Diego. You get busted in a quick second.
yeah.
Everything was all clandestine, indoor, secret op shit. Shit, the first time I went to a grow up, I was blindfolded, thrown in the back of the truck.
Been
I
there.
was using that shit right behind you, that hydroton soil. I was growing with that in fucking little 2-gallon blue buckets, stacked inside of another bucket with like a drain plug hooked up to a brain and a reservoir, using general hydroponics, 3-part in like Floralicious or some additive or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Fucking Fox
Yeah.
Farm shit. Oh yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no, it wasn't Fox Farm. It was General Hydro. It was
Just the GA shit.
Greenhouse Organics or whatever, or General Hydroponics.
It was like
Or-
it was DWC, eh?
No, it wasn't. It was flood and drain.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And can you give us a background on your company Bokashi, when it started and how it started?
Yeah, sure. I was actually in the process of going to court. I got fucking busted for making concentrates in like 2015, and I was just going through the motions because I was going to go on the run like I always do, because I'd work way too hard at what I do to turn myself in. You're going to have to come find my ass. That's always my mentality. I don't have to worry about that anymore, but this was in the past. Anyway, I was building this business, Bokashi Earthworks business. I was using another company's product called Grow Kashi, and it was the same thing, an inoculated wheat bran product, and I had converted over to organic cultivation. And I figured it would be easy to manufacture it myself. I had a friend who I was helping out, an older woman. She has lots of hobbies and she always makes businesses out of hobbies. And so she's like, I'm making a Bokashi business. And so I was like, cool, I'll buy into that. We can make Bokashi and I use that shit anyway. We'll sell the extra. And so we put in $300 a piece, me, her, and an old partner of mine. And I started doing it, and then I was doing it for a little bit, but I ended up going to fucking prison. And after a long stint on the run, and I was in there for about 18 months, and then I got out, and as soon as I got out, I just hit that up again, and I was like, ran with that as hard as I could. It was just educating people on cannabis stuff, because I've been, growing weed forever. And had some opportunities out here in Oklahoma, came out here, headed up some, large indoor facility out here, built up another mixed light greenhouse facility. And I'm, working and expanding. My Bokashi company has turned into not just Bokashi. In fact, most of it's not the actual Bokashi brand anymore. Most of it's organic amendments, the carbon-based fertilizer from NASA Agritech, which is a business partner of mine, and the manufacturing microbial consortiums and distribution for all of those 3 things. And then I also have another LLC where I do agronomic consulting. So I'll go out to a farm. I can figure out exactly what's going on with what, and see, how I can help and how I can implement different SOPs for integrated pest management, fertigation SOPs, cloning, whatever it is they need, the whole gamut. And I can supply wholesale soil that I manufacture myself that's meets the target nutritional levels for cannabis. They're based off of agronomic data, soil testing, and saturated paste testing, heavy metals testing. And so I can supply people with, soils, fertilizers, microbes, both on a small scale for home growers and on for wholesale applications for, large agricultural applications.
Yeah, I got a couple of questions about that carbon-based fertilizer that you're partnered with. When you guys run that, do you run that just like you would a normal salt system, or is it like compatible going through drip lines, things like that?
Yeah. So you can use the product just like you would any other product on the market that you could run through lines, anything else like that. You can fertigate it just like you can any conventional fertilizer. The benefit is that you don't need to fertigate as often. And the reason is because conventional fertilizers, do you ever wonder why you have like a part A, a part B, and a part C, or like a part A, a part B, and like a cow mag for these conventional things? Have you guys ever asked why and thought about how come? How come it's just not one part that I can just put this in there and be good?
Yeah.
Well, it's just like, when you're growing the plant, some of those things are antagonistic to each other. When they don't get along when they're in the bottle and they're in solution together. So shit falls out.
Yeah, exactly. That's a exact, well said. Yeah, you can't mix all those chemicals together because they react together and they become insoluble compounds that aren't available to the plant. And so when you do that, when you add these chemical compounds to water, when you mix them together in water, and then when you put them in soil or when you put them through media, they react. They don't stay in a soluble form for a very long time. So if you have something like a solution that has NPK and you have 10% nitrogen, 10% of that nitrogen is bioavailable, 2% of that is going to come in contact with the root system. You're looking at a nitrogen use efficiency of something like 0.0002%. And so you're not using much of what's in there, and most of that is going to waste. What happens with the carbon-based fertilizer is all those inorganic elements that plants need, because plants don't really use anything organic with the exception of some low-weight molecular compounds, including amino acids. Most of the stuff is in an inorganic ionic form, like phosphate, calcium, Ca2+, magnesium, Mg2+. Their ionic form of those minerals. So what you're looking at on a periodic chart in their ionic form, in a certain ionic form, those things can be released from inorganic material and cycled in the soil, but they have to be supplied in some way, right? And if they're not being supplied in sufficient amount, you're going to have deficiency symptoms. With this fertilizer, what happens is they're able to attach all of those inorganic molecules to pure carboxylic acid using a catalyst. And what that does is it makes it so all of those things that the plant needs, all the phosphate in the form that the plant utilizes, the nitrate and ammonium in the form that the plant needs, the potassium, K2O in the form that it needs, right? The iron, everything in those metabolically available forms. And they attach it to the carboxylic acid chains, these carbon chains. So it creates a new organic molecule. So by definition, you have an organic fertilizer, right? And so what you're able to do is you're able to put these into these systems and they don't react. They don't react like a typical fertilizer does. They don't change and precipitate and fall out of solution, become unavailable. In fact, they become so available that the biology in the soil can utilize them too. So it stimulates the biology, increases the diversity in the population. And because of that dynamic, those things start releasing enzymes, amino acids, organic acids that create new soil. And then what also happens is because it's adding 15 to 20% pure organic soluble carbon into the soil, you're increasing the carbon or organic content of that soil, and that's going to increase your water penetrating capabilities. That's going to increase your water holding capabilities and your water penetrating capabilities. So it has all the benefits of these, conventional agronomic fertilizers without any of the negative harmful impacts.
Yeah.
So if I was going to use, that carbon-based fertilizer, I run basically kind of a no-till or say a low-till, type system. How would my usage rates? Because I know what I've heard other people saying, you only use it, every so often, you don't fertigate with it very often. So in something like a no-till system, would it be even less, or would you still stick to that same regimen?
So here's the thing, right? When it comes to soil biology and nutrient cycling and the amount of nutrient that needs to be supplied for adequate crop production, when we're talking about maximizing your genetic potential, quality and yield, right? So the data exists, and I've collected a ton of it on what that looks like, what it needs to look like throughout the whole entire process. And if you're not meeting those nutrient potentials in soil, then you'll be deficient in the chemical compounds that are created in the plant. Or you're going to be deficient in maximizing your yield. And so just because you have a no-till system, you have to consider the phosphate, the carbon, and the nitrogen cycles, right? And those cycles are very dependent on atmosphere, environmental conditions like temperature and humidity, organic matter, and biology. Which type of biology? In the instance of nitrogen, our atmosphere is 78% nitrogen, but it's not usable. The plant can't use that nitrogen because it needs to be converted into ammonia. And the way that it happens is there are what are called nitrifying bacteria. And they go through a process, an enzymatic process, where they convert nitrogen, they combine it with carbon that's from the soil or the atmosphere, depending on the species. They convert it into a new chemical compound that's actually usable for the plant. So that is then converted through another process and eventually turned into nitrate, which is the most efficient use. But it also can be proteins from organic matter can be broken down. Amino acids can be broken down from organic matter through enzymatic process through a different type of biology, usually stratophytic fungi, bacteria that feed on decaying organic matter. And those can be cycled into the soil and release amino acids and ammonium, and then that's converted into nitrate. But that same process can be denitrified by bacteria, which takes that cycle and then does the reverse process and releases it as atmospheric nitrogen. So you can actually add nitrogen into your soil and just lose it with atmospheric nitrogen because it's going to be converted. What's not utilized by biology or the plant can dissipate. It just depends on the form or how it's attached to organic molecules in the soil. So the same kind of process happens with carbon, where we have a certain amount of carbon in the atmosphere, and some of that can be utilized in the soil by biology, and it can be turned into other organic compounds that stay in the soil. And that's adding organic matter or adding organic carbon into the soil. But there's also bacteria that can break down compounds and release atmospheric compounds, CO2, into the atmosphere from those systems.
With it being so readily available, it's what it is. Is it easy to burn plants with it?
With what?
With your carbon-based fertilizer. With it being so available.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can overdo it for sure. And the reason is because you offset the balance. You offset. It's not that you're overdoing it. It's that everything is out of balance because there are associations that happen with nutrients. And I'll give you an example. So calcium and phosphorus will react. Phosphate is usually never found free floating in soil unless it's directly in the rhizosphere being sequestered through diffusion by the plant while it's moving through a solution. So, and the reason is because it's an anion that's highly reactive, and so it'll bond to other elements in the soil, and it bonds to calcium. And if you jack up phosphate using a chemical phosphorus, what happens is it ties up calcium, it ties up other elements in your soil. It can tie up zinc, manganese, iron, copper. And then also, if you overdo it on calcium, you're not going to get enough phosphorus. And then you can also have antagonistic relationships with the other cations like potassium and magnesium. Like you won't have a sufficient amount. You could have a sufficient amount, but if you have a greater percentage of calcium, you're not going to be able to uptake as much magnesium and potassium. Or if you have a bunch of sodium because you use a bunch of ocean inputs in your mix, and it jacked your sodium super high, then you're not going to be able to get things like calcium, magnesium, and potassium, because that's antagonistic to all three of those things. So there's all these different relationships that go back and forth with a lot of different nutrients, and being able to understand what those are. And it's like, I can't memorize all of them, but I know what they are, and I have the books and I can reference them when I need them. It's all part of the chemistry and the biology and the physics of the soil. And when you look at it and you think of physics and you think of chemistry and you think of biology, it's all the same thing. It's just looking at it from a slightly different scale.
Brandon, where can we find your products? You have a website?
I do. It's www.bokashiearthworks.com, and that's BOKASHI Earthworks, EARTHWORKS, all one word.
Do you know if your products are available in Canada? I guess you would know.
They're not available in Canada.
Yeah,
but a good friend of mine, Steve Rasner, Potent Ponics, some of you guys might be familiar with him. He's out here in Oklahoma, and he is going to be helping with labeling compliance, because I just got finished with labeling for the US, and so we're going to start registering in all the different states. But because Canada and Europe have different standards, what we're going to do is we're actually going to send off our testing to a Canadian lab, because if we have the Canadian standards, then we're covered for Europe and then probably for South America as well. And since we're setting up distribution channels all over the world, it's something that will happen. It's just been something that's been slow going as this thing's been slowly progressing. And so as soon as we have the labeling, we have the Amish certification, I will have distribution up in Canada, and you guys will all be able to get humate fertilizers, whether it's for large scale agronomic produce, or whether it's for small scale farming. And we'll also have different formulations. I'm going to be doing formulations that are specifically for soil and cannabis, and then I'll have a formulation that's for like soilless media, like cocoa or hydroponic media. It's just one part, and it's super simple and adds carbon, has organic matter, and you can just keep reusing it over and over again because it's not going to react. Essentially just top your reservoir off, add a little bit more, and keep going. It's less wasteful on that aspect. But those are things that'll happen in the future. Those are things that I have to still work on.
Well, I'm glad to see you trying. It seems that the laws around, maybe more specifically, maybe fertilizer, are really harsh in Canada. And they're so inconsistent. I mean, the example that comes to mind with me is the mosquito dunks, the little round donuts. They are available in Canada, but the mosquito bits are not. Now they're the same thing, except they're in a ground. They're the dunks in a ground up form. So why would one be available and not the other?
And you know what that is? That's Bacillus thuringiensis. So that's a bacteria that creates a bacterial toxin that's harmful to things like mosquitoes and fungus gnats. Yeah. But I understand what you're saying, man. it's just weird. There's a lot of weird regulations, and it's all just about bureaucracy and regulation, and a bunch of there's a tax man getting there.
Yeah, and I'm wondering too if there might be some type of a knee-jerk reaction to the fact that fertilizer and certain chemicals, ammonia and so on, are used to blow shit up, and so they say, okay, fertilizer, forget about it. It just seems like another one is recharge is like it's getting into Canada. I don't know how it's totally legal, but it is getting in here.
Well, that's the thing. So, yes, and it's really funny that you bring up explosions, and that was the base premises. These things weren't developed as agronomic products. These things were byproducts of World War II and the leftover chemical manufacturing for munitions. And so what ended up happening is some people were like, oh, well, you can add this and this and this, you'll get this reaction. And so it started the whole green revolution in the 60s and 70s after these people pushed it for a long time, these chemical manufacturers, and it was part of the American petrodollar, where they're able to take some of these derivatives from the petroleum distillates from oil manufacturing and petroleum distillation, and use it as fertilizers, right? And so the economy was really heavily based on that, and it still is to this day. However, these ag chemicals are very harmfully these ag chemicals are environmentally harmful. They're very impactful. They have negative consequences. They're very inefficient, and the nutrient use efficiency, like we talked about earlier, how much is available how much is actually available, and then how much comes in contact with the root. It's not a lot. And so we have to look at how the cost for manufacturing of these products, which is very expensive. And then we have to look at the nutrient use efficiency, and it's not good. And so it's kind of a waste from a lot of different perspectives. And so what we can do is we can use these carbon-based fertilizers, and we increase the use efficiencies, however, when it comes to the legislation, people don't have education, right? They don't have the knowledge and background. If you're a guy who's a lawmaker and you're making laws about, things that are that somebody's taught just the conventionals, ag chemicals, and they don't take a holistic approach to agriculture as far as the agronomy, IPM strategies, soil remediation, and microbial biodiversity, and all these other types of aspects that can be beneficial. If you have people that don't understand that, then you end up with these restrictions and limitations, or it's just a matter of somebody wants to make money off this shit.
Brandon, you do some breeding as well?
Yes, I have been doing I've been doing personal projects for myself since 2004, and just recently, probably 2020, 2 years ago, I did my first actual mainstream release, just because there was so much demand for it. And everything goes pretty quick.
Yeah. Can you tell us about some of the strains that you've produced and any plans in the future?
Sure. So my main thing that I work with is called Limerilla, and it is Black Lime Reserve crossed into Gorilla Glue 4. It has a very chemical, soapy kind of lime profile to it. Some of the phenos are a little sweeter than others. Some of them are a little more foul. And that's one of the things that I've, been using and growing since, I found it and kind of got a hold of that specific genetic. It was kind of a random thing because I went to go help out somebody that didn't really know what they were doing back when I was back in San Diego, traditional market. It was just, this is an older guy, and he just was, he needed medicine and stuff. And I went in there and see what I could do to help him out. And it was kind of a disaster. And I was like, look, the only thing you can do is let these things finish out. I'll give you a regiment to finish them out. But they were already herming, they were so stressed, and he had good cuts in there that someone had legitimately sourced for him. So that was good. But I told him, look, you're going to have good weed. You're going to get through this, but, you're going to have some seeds here and there in your weed. But he was an old timer, and he was like, I don't care. I've been smoking fucking weed with seeds in it for the last 40 years. So, we got through the whole harvest or whatever. He trimmed it up. I took a bunch of it and stuff. And, I told him, yeah, whatever, I'm going to grab a bunch of seeds too. I grabbed a bunch of seeds from the stuff I took, and he gave me a bunch more. And he didn't have any interest in it. It wasn't his thing. He just kind of, gave me all the stuff. And just, I ran through it and started popping stuff, hunting stuff. And that was right around the time when terpene testing started becoming available. And I had some phenomenal tests, and I had some great varieties, and I've used that specific variety. I've hunted through it several times from all that original seed stock. I've gone through hundreds of plants. I've kept all, the best ones, and I use those for breeding projects. Right now, I have Black Lime Reserve crosses that are going to be coming up. Black Lime Reserve times Starfighter, Black Lime Reserve times itself from another F1 population from a female. Black Lime Reserve times Blueberry McMuffin, which is Humboldt Seed Company. Blueberry Muffin times Mac one. And then I have another project with some Starfighter stuff, original Starfighter that I have coming up. And then when all that stuff done, all that stuff is hunted and gone through, I'm going to go through a bunch of other older stuff that I have that I want to run through again. And then I will do a Limarilla 2.0 because I have 3 different male phenos of the Black Lime Reserve. And I'm using each of those on the same project over so I can figure out which male I like best. And I'm going to pick the best male out of the 3 that I chose. And I'm going to cross that back into the Gorilla Glue, the original Gorilla Glue that I still have, to make a new version, which is going to be a regular version. That's I've never released Limarilla. I've never, it was never a thing. I've only ever given out seeds to a few people. And I think only one of them has actually popped any of them. And the ones that he kept, he ended up giving back to me anyway, because he was like, this shit's fucking crazy.
And where can we find your seeds?
Well, if you guys are in Canada, you can go on dogga.love. So DOGGA.LOVE. And you can find the Black Light and the Limelight. And so Limelight is my Limarilla times Mac V2. And it's an F2. And then I took the same male that I used to make the F2s for that, and I crossed that into Black Lime Reserve. So Black Light is Black Lime Reserve times Limelight. So I have the Limelight, and then I have Black Lime Reserve times Limelight. Those are the 2 things that I have both on my website in the US on Bokashi Earthworks. And then I also have the Gassy Autos, which I verified those. It's an autoflower that a friend of mine, he actually works for Bokashi Earthworks. He did those. Great dude, and genetics are solid. It's an autoflower for people that want to just have something that they don't have to pay too much attention to. They don't have to. And man, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference from a photo plant. It turned out fire. So there's those two. So those are on my website, but on Dog of Love for like any international, even if you're in like Germany, South Africa, whatever, Dogga.love, Peter will get all that shit out to you guys. Future Cannabis Project.
Cool.
Yeah.
Out of all the crosses that you just named, which one has more of the lime terp in it?
So that is the original Limarilla. So what that is like,
Okay.
so there's like some different variations that people might be familiar with when it comes to the terpene profile. And some people are familiar with that like lemon pledge. Like if you guys ever had a bottle of lemon pledge and it's kind of like lemon pine. Then there's also kind of like the lemon skunk, which is more of like the super lemon haze where it has like this lemon kind of pepper funk to it. But it's not like any of those. Lime is not lemon or pine. Lime is specifically like lime, and it usually has this like chemical, like it would smell like it's artificial, is what I mean by chemical, where it's like, whoa, that doesn't smell like it should be a plant, where it's either something like that's mentholated or something that has just like an arid kind of odor to it, attached to maybe something like a sweet perfume, like soap. Like, so I describe my Limarilla as like a chemical soap because it has this fragrant, sweet perfume chemical thing going on in it, but it also has this really bright, distinct lemon as well.
Okay, cool. Very cool.
And you mentioned the Limarilla times GG4. Is that still available, or that was one of your first?
So no, the Limarilla is Black Lime Reserve times Gorilla Glue 4. So that's what Limarilla is.
Okay.
Now what I did was I took that and I crossed it in a Mac V2, and then I took it back to Black Lime Reserve again. Okay. That is the black light. And then just the single one where I take the Limarilla, Black Lime Reserve, Gorilla Glue times Mac V2, that's the limelight.
And you're coming out with another Limarilla 2.0.
I will, but it will be a while, man. It's going to be like, it'll be well over a year before it happens, I think.
All right, Brandon, if you were any animal, what kind of animal would you be?
Oh, the first thing that came to mind for some weird reason was an electric eel. But I don't know why that came to my head. I think maybe I would probably be like, maybe like one of those goats that you see on the side of the mountains. It's like sheer cliff, and that dude just like, I fucking got this.
A mountain goat?
How do they do that?
Yeah, I guess. Mountain goat.
That's not a bad choice, man. Those things are pretty bitchin'. To be honest, man. You can't stop them guys. They can go wherever the hell they want.
But you know what my favorite animal though is? All-time favorite animal though is a sloth. I love sloths. Sloths are like the most adorable, like cutest. Like they're so slow that like algae grows on them. I mean, that's just.
I just watched a thing within the last couple of weeks. I watched a thing talk about like when they get a hold of your hand or something like that, they will fuck your shit up like for such a passive, docile animal.
Yeah,
they got apparently just insane grip strength on them, and their claws are super sharp. And then you see the pictures of where they've torn people. It's like holy fuck, I would not have expected that from a sloth at all.
My friend actually was talking about owning a sloth today, which is really weird, but apparently they are stinky motherfuckers. Like,
what leads you down the path to look up sloth injuries? Like, what in how do you get down that path? I need to know that.
because what happens is I'll sit there and watching YouTube videos, and then all of a sudden it just like, you know how it comes up with its own suggestions based on
Yep.
what it thinks you should be watching or whatever. And like, yeah, sometimes fucked up shit happens, and you watch weird sloth injury videos. It never occurred to me that sloths had ever harmed a human on the face of the planet ever. Apparently, it has happened though.
I don't know. All my suggestions lead back to Pornhub. I don't know what the hell's going on. I think this computer's got a mind of its own.
Are you looking at the geriatric genre that I mentioned earlier?
The only uncensored network on the internet. What if just the whole cannabis community just all shifted?
Pornhub. Not bad.
I heard that actually Pornhub was like one of the biggest places to watch just pirated movies. Like just go search a movie like Home Alone and shit, right? And there's like Home Alone is on Pornhub somewhere. And it's a great place to just pirate shit because they're not fucking looking at it, apparently. I've heard that.
Thanks for the tip, man. You know, I mean, you heard from a friend, obviously.
I've been
Who heard it
told,
from
you
a
know.
friend? Yeah.
You know what's messed up is when I tell people that and I say, yeah, I heard it from a friend, they're not going to believe me.
Well, what I'm thinking is, Fluff, did you actually click on the Home Alone title when you were searching through Pornhub? Because that sounds like it's probably a really good porn movie. I don't know if it's got anything to do with Macaulay Culkin, though.
I did not. I guess I should have did my due diligence. I didn't do my due diligence on that research. I'll have to get back to you on that one.
So,
Please do.
Brandon, I've had the fortune of seeing you on other shows. You're a regular on Cheap Home Grow, and tell us
Yeah,
about
3 years on that show. Crazy.
Yeah. You just celebrated your 3rd anniversary there. Congrats. But I've seen you on other shows as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, I've done a lot of Future Cannabis Project. I think I've done Mr. Grow It. I've done a bunch of Growcast episodes. I did a podcast out in Sweden, or that was from Sweden. I can't even remember what that one was, actually, to be honest. Talking shit with Eagle Gardens, GW Smoke Break. I hope I'm not missing out on anybody. Yeah, I've done a bunch.
Great.
Yeah. Didn't you
What
just
one?
do the Michigan show the other day with the Michigan Bros?
That's right,
That's
Michigan.
right.
That's right, Michigan Bros Grow Show, and then also Medical Mondays. I made an appearance on there and talked about kind of what was going on out here in Oklahoma. So yeah, man, I'm all over the place. I'm just trying to I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just
And where were you? And where were you earlier?
Where was I earlier?
You were on a podcast earlier.
I was talking to Daniel at GW Smoke Break.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can check him out on IG. He does a lot of really cool interviews and podcasts with legacy farmers. Super cool dude. And yeah, I mean, I think I did another podcast earlier. I can't remember. Oh yeah, Future Cannabis Project. I've done a couple of the Marco and Bryant show.
Yeah.
No, just all over the place.
Great stuff out there. Yeah, well, we appreciate your input into the community. That's for sure. Yeah.
What's your favorite band?
Oh, I like that.
Do you have such a thing?
What's that?
What's your favorite band? Do you have such a thing?
Oh, geez, man.
Well, your top 5.
Well,
He's not going to suck dick.
Devo's in there for sure.
Devo?
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Hell yeah, right on. Okay, sweet. I'm digging it so far.
Man, top 5 though. That's hard. That's a really hard fucking question, dude. Because I fucking love a lot of music. I mean, how can you put I might be able to give you like top 5 in like certain categories. Like if we're gonna go like top 5 punk rock bands, I'd be like, oh, that's easy. Fucking
All right, let's start there.
You know, fucking let's go with fucking Cryptic Slaughter, DRI, Municipal Waste, fucking Method of Destruction, and fucking fucking
I
Black
haven't,
Flag, you know.
I haven't heard MOD in so long, man.
Yeah, look at DRI right there. You got your fucking I have fucking huge Black Flag bars tattooed across my whole chest
Right on.
and my whole side. You know, if we're looking at like metal, it would be different, something different. If we're looking at like soft rock, I could be like, oh, I love Enya, you know, or like I listen to so much different types of music. Depends, man.
What's your favorite boy band?
Oh man, I have to go with probably fucking Justin Timberlake. That dude's a G. Yeah, he gets it done.
I said that before.
Yeah.
Just because of your jacket, I need to know your stance on Huey Lewis. Because I personally think Huey Lewis is like the biggest pimp in the fucking world and makes amazing music. So what's your stance on Huey?
I don't know who that is.
Really?
Holy shit.
Wow.
Really?
Maybe I do, but maybe I just don't know the name. Maybe I know the music, but not the name.
They did
Hip
back
to
in
be
time
square, power of
on
law.
freaking from the
On
Back
New
to the
Grove.
Future, the soundtrack. Got to get back in time. You know, really?
Wow,
No?
so much. Yeah, you'd be
Wow.
surprised how much of it
You
you'd
never
actually
watched Back to
probably
the
know.
Future?
Prophet, I think the problem is you didn't quite sing enough of the song. Give us a few more.
No,
bars, I
yeah,
think
no, he
you'll-
sang
No,
enough.
I do
He's-
story
he's-
time. I
he's
only
sang
sing
enough.
on Cannabis.
Huey Lewis is awful. Huey
Yeah,
Lewis
so
is
no, I
awful.
listen to a lot of music. I listen to classical music. I'll listen to, you know, symphony music and then switch over to listening to Guar, you know, so
What's your favorite Guar album?
oh man, probably Bring Back the Bomb. I think that was the album. I could be wrong. I had a bunch of them. It's all mixed up, man.
I like this Toilet Earth. Personally.
I can never remember like any of the names of any of that shit. I just fucking jam to it when it's on. Fucking, Guar was never one that any names ever stuck with me. It was just always so fucking much. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm a Scum Dogs guy myself.
Yeah, I mean, you know, so when I was a kid, when I was real young, I was in you know a bunch of foster cares, but I was in this one foster care, and the lady's daughter was really into grunge music, and she was listening to like Sonic Youth and you know all the popular grunge bands that were you know popular during the late 80s. And so I got into that music, and ever since then I had always been influenced by music and listened to music. So I listened to, you know, I followed that whole grunge scene from the whole progression of it. And I at the same time I was listening to punk rock music like Black Flag and Circle Jerks and Dead Kennedys and Angry Samoans and you know all these like kind of like all the DC bands and shit, like Minor Threat and Void and Faith, and you know I was all over the fucking place, and I just went into a lot of music and shit.
Well, that's awesome. Who's your favorite composer?
Composer?
Mine would be Rachmaninoff.
Yeah, I don't know about composer, but I'll tell you who's composed some great fucking music is Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Especially if you're high on LSD. That shit is phenomenal. I don't know if they actually composed it, but they put that shit together.
Yeah, that shit's yeah, I'm with you. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
I couldn't say I you know, as far as like composers go, but I'll listen, like I said, I'll put on the station when I'm in the zone, you know.
I dig. What's your favorite Devo song? Mine's Freedom of Choice.
Now we're getting into the deep stuff, right? This is the real talk.
But my favorite Devo song is Mongoloid.
That's a fucking Great
It's
choice.
the most punk rock Devo song ever. And he brought home the bacon so that no one knew. I'm telling you, dude, Devo, they're fucking geniuses, those guys are.
That's true. I agree with you.
Yeah, you a fan of Zappa?
Oh,
Frank
fuck
Zappa?
yeah. Frank Zappa. Frank Zappa is, it would have to probably be in that top 5 too, because the guy's just, you know,
A fucking
ahead
genius.
of his time. Ahead of his time,
Amazing.
weird, you know.
Talk about listening to something on LSD.
Hey, you know who I really fucking like on when I'm listening to when I'm chilling on psychedelics is fucking Mike Patton. That dude, that dude will fucking that dude will fucking he'll wreck your day because the shit will end and you're still tripping balls and you'll be like, I want more. You're like sad that it ends.
Yeah, start off
Yeah.
nice and easy with like maybe some Faith No More or whatever. And then just as you really start kicking in, throw on some Mr. Bungle or something like that. We're just like, whoa.
That's what I'm talking about. You guys
Fucking
already
A,
know what's
man.
up, dude. That's funny.
You know about the Residents?
I don't know about the Residents, man. You guys have to tell me about the Residents.
Oh, they just wear eyeball helmets. You don't know who they are?
No, I haven't seen them.
They're something. I'll have to.
But you know who is from Oklahoma City is the Flaming Lips. And they have like some businesses out here that are pretty awkward art gallery type things and stuff. So
Right on. How is Oklahoma? Snowy?
it is not snowing. No. Weather is sporadic. It's usually pretty mild.
What
I love it. I literally I went to go eat dinner the other night and I ordered a double shot of whiskey with a little top off of Coke. I had a delicious street infusion meal and I smoked a few blunts. Right there.
At the same time?
Yeah, that's how we get down out here. It's beautiful.
That's pretty fly. That's pretty fly.
Yeah, so you can smoke weed anywhere, you can smoke cigarettes, and you can smoke cigarettes pretty much anywhere. I mean, some restaurants were like, hey, you can't smoke cigarettes in here. So obviously if you're in a place where you can smoke cigarettes, you can also smoke weed. And if you're on a place where you're like on a balcony, nobody gives a shit.
The game on.
In fact, we go to places and fucking bust out fucking dab rigs and we'll be chilling. What up? We got fucking spots you can just go hang out in. Whatever, dude. It's cool. Oklahoma's the business.
What do you foresee in the future? Like eventually, it's the Wild West right now, but
I see a lot of these independent businesses hopefully uniting to make sure that the fucking laws stay the laws that they are right now, because we don't really want interference with our fucking business and our taxes and all that other shit. Like, I mean, fuck, dude. Shouldn't we be like in revolt right now? Shouldn't we be like tearing down the fucking doors of the federal government for like the taxes? I mean, our fucking taxes make King George III's look like a fucking goddamn birthday present. Yeah. I mean, I got to pay income tax, property tax. I got to pay tax on my fucking products I buy at a fucking store. I got to fucking pay tax on fucking goddamn everything. It's like, what the fuck? Like, listen to this. Income tax. What the fuck is income tax? They're going to tax your motherfucking ass because you want to fucking make a living? No, you're not allowed to make a living. You're not allowed to make everything. Like, we're going to fucking tax your ass if you want to make a living. Like, that's fucking crazy. That's fucking insane. That's absolutely fucking crazy, isn't it not? Like, am I not tripping?
No, man. You're correct.
Should we all not be super pissed? Should we all?
Yeah, because the crazy part is you're taxed on your income, like you said, but then you're taxed on every fucking thing you buy after that. So you're like taxed like quadruple on everything, really, when it comes down to it. It is. It's stupid.
And you have to always pay a tax no matter how long you've owned something. And then don't pay the tax and you'll lose it.
All right, Brandon, where's the rally? Where can we meet? What time?
We can get baked at my house.
I'm not sure if I qualify for any like political positions because I'm a multiple convicted felon, but I'll fucking rally the troops. Let's see what we can pull off. Fuck taxes. We
And
can
fuck the
fucking,
MCMA.
fuck the MCMA.
Yeah, fuck them too.
Yeah. Damn the man. It's
Yeah, it's really sad. It's fucked up when a business has to like try to resort to changing legislation to try to gain market share because they fucking produce shit ass quality weed. That's fucking so sad, dude.
Yep. Can't hang with if you can't hang with the big dogs, you can't hang with the big dogs. So get the fuck out of here. That's how it should be, sink or swim, right? And if these guys can't, they've like you said, resorting to changing legislation to fucking suit your own needs. Get fucked. That's well.
You'll see it across the board as legalization is normalized and more people come in. It'll be like all types of businesses. There'll be people that come in and cycle through and don't last, and there'll be new people and people that are trained. It's and there'll be the good players are usually people that outlast. I think that there's always going to be a market for high quality cannabis.
Definitely. Yeah. We're just going through that transition, and how long it lasts, I don't know. Don't have a clue. Maybe until I don't even know if it's going to end with federal legalization. I think it's just going to
because what federal legislation will do is it'll allow the states, or it should allow the states to decide the regulations and whether or not they allow import or export and what the taxes and stuff look like. And I already know that because the legislation is already written into those state questions that I mentioned earlier. And like Oklahoma would be really unique in that it would drop any type of wholesale tax from 15%, which is only paid at the register. And you would also, be able to write off your business expenses like a regular business under this law. And then anything medical isn't taxed at all, business-wise or patient-wise. What would happen was that 15% would become a wholesale tax. It would drop down to 3%. What that would promote would be out-of-state commerce. It would promote, and help the farms that want to build brands and kind of have a point of origin where they can send products to the states that allow that, to have that type of freedom to do so. So it would, I think, inherently increase the value of what Oklahoma could bring from the production standpoint, for small, for businesses, for the small businesses that operate out here. I think everybody could really benefit.
I'm thinking the big thing that we'd all or that the U.S. would benefit from federal legalization would be more acceptable banking practices. A lot of small businesses, their hands are tied now, unable to borrow money, and just the handling all that cash is just ridiculous.
Yeah, there's it's a weird kind of dynamic right now, but everything's changing. So, I suspect that I expect things will change in 2024.
See, yeah.
I've always worried though. It's just going to be something like, the pre-rolls are going to have fire safe paper, and we just go the same route as, like cigarettes did once it does get federally legal, and they allow the big agriculture hit it, the standards that are getting produced now are going to go way downhill. They're going to let all kinds of shit go into these plants once the Marlboro and the Camel and fucking all that gets a hold of it. So, I don't think it's going to be very great once it does happen, but the ability that we get to have it ourselves.
Look, if that's the case, those guys aren't growing good weed anyway. So
I don't disagree.
Somebody who smokes cigarettes and that's your thing, it's like, that's your thing. I'm not going to hate on you. Look, but when it comes down to it, if you're in a business where you're supplying something that's exponentially better than a pre-rolled pack of cigarettes, cigaweeds, whatever you want to fucking call them, you're better than that though. That's not your market competition, dude. Like you have to think about the other consumers out there. Yeah, there's obviously consumers that want to have a product that's extremely cheap because they don't care, because they're going to get effect that they're okay with. But you're also going to find people out there that are like, hey, maybe I don't want to drink, Steel Reserve because that shit sucks.
That's what I was just gonna say.
I would, much rather come over here and have some like Sierra Nevadas, or like, sometimes I might even buy myself a really expensive bottle of whiskey.
That's what I mean. You can drink shitty fucking whiskey, or you could drink fucking really expensive whiskey.
Yeah. It depends on how you want to feel the next day.
That's right.
I guess I've never really looked at the differences in like say cigars, what they get, I don't know what happens there, Yeah, I always think of, anybody who's going to grow large scale agricultural something to smoke, you're obviously going to go to somebody who's very well versed in it. So you think of I just think of the cigarette companies and what they've done to ruin something that was, it wasn't. Go ahead.
I personally think that all of any large scale agriculture stuff, that's not going to be smoke product, right? That's just going to be used for creams and edibles and concentrates, oil. It's not going to be smokable flower. So that's a completely different market. They're going to be making extracts out of this stuff and making, cannabis infused products. So it's almost completely different market. It's almost separate from like, that craft indoor, the type of growing that is for smokable flower. Now you could have large scale smokable flower that's all automated. It's all, chemical and stuff too, which is, kind of another tier of agriculture. It's a little bit different, but it's not the same as like, hey, look, we're growing something using kind of closed loop systems, lower carbon footprints. We're using natural methods, so we're able to stimulate like plant responses that you can't do in rockwool. There's so many different dynamics that happen with the soil in response to how the plant expresses itself that you can't mimic that in these synthetic systems, So that being said, the highest quality stuff is going to be grown with love and care. It's going to be grown, it's usually smaller scale. You can scale quality, but scaling a competent team that's passionate about what they're doing is really more of the challenge. Because you could fucking grow the greatest fucking weed in the world, but if that shit isn't fucking maintained during fucking harvest and drying time, the processing of it, you can ruin the whole fucking thing. And that all takes a team and a larger team at scale. So you have to kind of look at it like that. You know,
you're at a commercial facility, Brandon, are you?
No, so right now, so I ran a larger facility. It's not super big. It literally could be done with, 2 competent people. And I was over there for over a year and a half. I left that to start up a larger farm, and I co-founded that, got that all started up, but I ended up just not really vibing, being on the same, wavelength as my business partners, and my partner, who I've been in business with, cultivating with off and on for the last 20 years. He showed me how to grow weed, had come out here. He ended up moving back home. And so I just, I left. And then I have a small place now, so it doesn't take up a lot of my time, which I don't have a lot of like free time during the day, because I'm usually having to just organize things and talk to people and get things situated for these different things that are happening. And because of that, I've chosen to kind of downscale like my actual involvement in the cultivation side. And I've really just focused on the building of SOPs and, trying to find the right people that can implement all of the methods, using the data analytics and the carbon-based fertilizers, the microbes. It's all part of a whole comprehensive plan.
And on.
It's all part of the plan.
Yeah, no, I what you had mentioned about growing quality in scale, I'm believing that more and more. I'm left with a bad taste in my mouth the way they brought about the legal cannabis in Canada, where it was all big business, but now more and more smaller craft cannabis operations are starting up, and I have more faith in the system. And I look at in the US, so when you talk about scaling again, like where Spartan works, a 5-person operation, that is cool. That,
Yeah.
That type of operation can produce quality cannabis.
Yeah. You just, again, it comes a lot of times to the teams that are involved. You have to have passionate people who love what they do if you want to have the best product. Like, you can't be the top 1% if the people that are cultivating your medicine are at the bottom fucking 15. You gotta have people that love this shit. You gotta have people that are involved.
Definitely. Yeah, I know at Mint and Canico, they have profit sharing, which is just a fantastic thing. What better way to have the employees be enthusiastic about taking down a crop than to share in the profit?
Yeah, but hey, it's getting kind of late, so I'm gonna say goodnight to everybody, and maybe we could do this again sometime.
Glad you made it.
I have to get up early in the morning. I'll talk
Glad
to you.
You made it by, sir. Could you just remind us of your social media before you leave us?
Sure. So it's the same as right here in the left-hand corner of my box, which is rust@rust.brandon. And then you can find a link in my bio to my company, Bokashi Earthworks, and my website as well.
Thanks for joining us. It's awesome.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, dude, it's been awesome talking with you, man. Thanks and William will absolutely love to have you back whenever.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Thanks a lot, Brandon. It was great meeting you.
Thanks, Brandon.
Have a
Thank
good one.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Later.
Okay,
Well, that
so
was
bees, am I allowed to suck Cliff Burton's dick? Maybe because I've been putting some thought into this.
Where did
And I was
this
thinking,
fucking
like, 'cause
cover?
Cliff Burton for like truly greatness, right? Like that is amazing thing. Or I was thinking, but he might not be the cleanest person. You think about someone like Les Claypool, a truly great bass player, but I have a feeling his balls would probably smell funny, and I don't want to be near that.
You've been thinking about this for as long as Brandon's been with us, right? Haven't you?
We've had like 2 hours worth of show going on, and
I
this
don't
is
know,
where my
man. Now
mind goes.
you got me
I-
thinking
or-
about a lot of dicks I'd suck probably.
Or like, what about like Geddy Lee though? Geddy Lee could be
That,
another
I
good
was
one.
gonna say him.
He's clean, right? Probably doesn't smell bad.
That's why I
Probably
said
uses
Rush.
like strawberry douche or something like that to make sure his balls are nice. So I don't
Problem
know.
is he's still maybe rocking that hairband situation as Luke gets brought up.
And we just cleared
Keep
out
the
the
sweat
live
out of
chat.
his eyes.
And that's how you
And fade to
fucking
black.
clear out a chat.
Yeah, Geezer Butler. That's a good call there. Craig.
Well, I figured, start and end the show on a high and low
Oh,
note, right? So
Still
either
in
the
fucking
highest of
top
highs or
chat.
lowest of lows. So
You can always go to drummers if you want. I mean, shit, there's a bunch of instruments. Who's your favorite trumpet player?
well, that's a whole different show, Prophet. So
Oh, that's so funny. This is obviously a first time watcher. They thought this was a family show.
Oh.
Our family. What are you talking about?
Who said that?
That's somebody I've never seen the name before. Patricia Walker. Welcome.
Patricia.
And yeah, this is a family show, but it's a real dysfunctional fucking family.
Yeah.
But
at best.
hey! I've got a responsibility that I've been slacking on lately, and thought, God damn it, we gotta hear a little shout out to our Patreon supporters. But before that, I just got myself in the live chat.
Oh shit! You're gonna force that like that fast, eh?
I
One
know,
second.
I know. But,
I'm working. I'll get there.
yeah.
Come on, man.
But in the meantime, thank you so much, chat, for joining us. It's always great to see everybody. And a shout out to our Patreon supporters. Crazy Pop Mom, Stony Rockefeller, Uncle Rick, Raider Dank Bader, Hypothetical Genetics, BC Stoner Mom, Sticky Icky Cookie, OP7420, Lobster Bush Bro, Papa Z, G-Bay Genetics, Colton Bridge, Astro Charlie, Eric Taylor, 420 Green Goddess, Terra Love, 420, South Nelson Farms, and Ziggy's Gardens. Thank you all so much. And hit it with the
I see where it's steam.
I'm glad we're here letting everybody know get live chat at the end of the show. Like, hey, you motherfuckers, I'm glad your experience sucked. So the next time, fucking get in live chat.
What happens when you don't jump in live chat on the show?
Well, just think if you had a good time tonight and in that shitty ass top chat experience, right? Just think of how much better it'll be when you just start it off right next time when you come correctly. Yeah, it was dude, I'm so excited for when people like to see Brandon Rust's name on the show. They're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna watch that, and the show is not fucking starting anything near like what they think it is. And then the best part is he doesn't even show up for like 45 minutes.
Totally off, man. Totally off.
But when he gets there, great show.
Oh, it is.
Great show.
It'll be like we'll probably get screams and cries like, can you guys like edit out the first 45 minutes of nonsense, please? And the answer is we would prefer not to.
Could you imagine if you edited out all of our ridiculous bullshit, how much content we actually have on the internet? Not much.
Well, but then we just had like over an hour of solid content with Brandon on the show. So
I know that was pretty cool.
Hour
That's
and
gonna
10
make up
minutes
the
would be
fucking
our
hour.
content.
So between him, so we've had Brandon on, also Smiley came on and gave us some really good stuff. So between Brandon and Smiley, and
take out the dick sucking, and what do you got left?
you know, Over the course of almost 200 shows, guys, there's probably at least 2.5 hours of knowledge, good knowledge gaining content on there. So that's pretty good for us.
Yeah.
Well
Yeah.
worth it.
I had a
Well
clip
worth
of
it.
2 minutes per show.
There is like 3.5 hours of poop talk, which is pretty amazing. Last
On
poop
one
talk.
episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But half of it's boofing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's either coming out the ass or up the ass in this show.
That's great stuff. I just had something else I was gonna say, but I lost it there. I think my mind is just kind of gone. We saw it at the beginning of the show with me trying to figure out the dab frog, but that's weird. I don't know what the hell I hit because I was like, sometimes I can cue it up on my screen and be real quick and get into our thing and hit the screen share thing, and it's only like 4 or 5 seconds in, and it's it's fine. But I did that, and then but all of a sudden it was playing like one of the Catachronic songs that I have played on there, and it would start and stop every time I'd open and close the Dab Frog screen, and I was just like my mind ruptured. You guys witnessed it. You guys.
Well, if you have a problem, just ask. Okay, I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it.
Well, but I panicked though, Rick. I think is what happened. I was like,
That was a whole deer in the lights.
This whole bass player thing, man. He's gonna be dreaming about it.
Well, but
never panic.
But see,
Never
that's why we
panic.
went out and got ourselves some like professional types in like Colton Bridge and South Nelson Farms and Buds of Smoking to help us out with the producing.
Oh man, you know what? It is true. We are nothing without chat. We're sorry, Spartan. Chat. Everybody else out there, you guys are the fucking best. You make us.
Absolutely are.
Here.
And yeah, that's the only reason we even try to get guests is so we can get more cool people to show up and chat. I mean, really, we just show up and do this shit so we can do fucking chat. Like, really, the show is literally just us trying to get more chat to have more ridiculous shit to fucking talk about. That's my favorite part.
Well, I don't know if you guys noticed, but other than talking about sucking dicks and stuff like that, I did way more participating in chat than I did on the show. So it's, I don't know.
Find a balance, like.
I'm proud of you. You can juggle that way, be in chat and suck dicks at the same time. That's impressive.
Sounds like the same thing.
I have a couple of women. I can juggle a few things.
No, it's actually, but that this is one of those guests where you kind of want to sit back and take notes with a pen almost, like, because you're going to learn some stuff.
I'm going to watch this one again.
Actually trying to sit back and learn some stuff because it's hard sometimes to just I enjoyed it. So thanks again for Brandon coming on, and that's another guy that we'd absolutely love to get on.
Yeah, he's
and here's actually a big one, guys. So we got Chad Westport coming up next Tuesday, right, Bees? As Chad was kind of confirming in the live chat earlier. Next Tuesday is our 200th episode. Woo! So I can't really think of a more fitting person than Chad to come on, other than if we were to have like some great big fucking panel. And we'll do a great big panel show here where we can just get like a whole bunch of our favorite how do you die with a big fuck panel guests? So
do we have a link for our Patreon that somebody can put in chat? Like, we used to get Raider and shit to do that all the fucking time. And
you know what, I can probably find that. Give me 1 second here, guys, because I figured out how to search it out just recently. Because the problem is anytime I've ever tried like going to patreon.com and searching for Caribou Heart TV, it shows like they don't find the creator or whatever. And so it makes me really go, what the fuck? And I messaged them about it, and they say it just takes a little while, but it's been a year or so now. So I kind of think, fuck that. I think I hope I had it and then I lost it. But anyways, the only way I've been able to find Patreon is if you go in your Google bar or whatever and you search Caribou Heart TV, it'll bring up, like, you'll see us on YouTube, Instagram, shit like that, and it'll also show the Caribou Heart TV Patreon page. So we're trying to read and cut and paste and all this shit at the same time. There it is. And you know what, we'll pin that up for the last 30 seconds of the show here.
Well, Spartan made a good point in chat. Isn't our like get our favorite people together show Friday night?
Yep.
I mean, that's basically what every Friday night turns out to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was thinking out loud there, kind of. This, yeah.
We had 21 people on that show one night.
We had 23 another time too.
Oh shit, that's right. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's what we've had up to. So that's pretty impressive. That's really cool. So, but
And
yeah,
it was amazing how calm the like 23 person panel was. It was actually quite calm, and people actually could talk and shit. It was amazing. I was like, what the fuck? I thought for our show, that shit was going to be utter fucking chaos.
Yeah. I
downright
noticed that.
Like
civilized.
there's only
I'd say.
6 of us, and like we're talking all over each other. Like me.
Well, one of us are.
Yeah, profit, you fucking asshole.
Oh, shoot.
We disagree.
Probably is me. I'm sorry.
Well,
All right, guys, you ready to wrap her up?
Yeah.
Uh,
All right, everyone,
adios.
chat. We love you.
Love you,
Thanks for,
chat. Love you.
listening in on our shit that we put out time and again, but we love you for it. We love you for it.
A
You're all
quick
wonderful
plug
people.
for Let's Be Buds tomorrow night. We've got
Do.
Crimson Grows, 9 o'clock Eastern. Hope you can make it.
Fuck yeah.
AM, right, Rick?
PM
And
Eastern.
that-
AM. Okay.
All right, with that, we're out of here, everyone, and see you Wednesday with Rick, and we'll see you Friday night here. Same bat time, same bat channel, all that good bullshit.